Hi everyone! Today, I'm bringing you a juicy update about the personal life of one of the most talked about figures in Turkish entertainment, Demet Özdemir, and the stir that has formed around Khan Yaman and the Yaman family. Let's get straight to it. In recent days, the old love triangle between Demet, Khan, and his aunt Guldem Yaman has flared up again. According to reports, after Khan's recent breakup, Guldem reached out to Demet to talk about the past and basically to try to close old wounds and open the door to a reconciliation. But Demet's response was a direct blow. She said she didn't want any confirmation about that breakup, that everyone should go their own way, just far away from her. She stressed that she has built a new life, that she's focused on herself, and that her chapter with Khan is over. And she dropped a line that sums it all up. If someone made you suffer once, they can do it again. That's why she doesn't want to go through the same thing, even if she still cares about the family. Guldem's reaction was just as strong. In a motherly tone, she replied that she understands Demet's pain and respects her decision, but also asked her not to shut the door so quickly. In her view, time has changed everyone. Demet has changed. Khan has changed too. She suggested thinking it over and talking with her family. And she added something big, that she has always considered Demet part of the family, that she will speak with Khan to help him recover, and that she even plans to bring him back to Turkey once certain issues are settled. And what did Demet do in response? As a sign of respect, she kissed Guldem's hand and said only, "I don't want to hurt you, but this is difficult." That sentence made two things clear. The past still weighs on her, but her decision to protect her private life is firm. Behind the scenes, people say Demet doesn't want to live in the shadow of what happened. She's focused on her future and on new projects, which she's already sharing with her followers. Meanwhile, Guldem seems to be moving to bring Khan closer to the family and to put his life in order, something many interpret as a strategy to get him back to Turkey and leave the drama behind. On social media, as expected, this set everything on fire. Some applaud Demet's determination, while others see Guldem as someone trying to keep family peace. And the big question still hangs in the air. Is this triangle truly over, or are we about to see another unexpected twist? For now, the only clear truth is this: Demet is turning the page. She doesn't want to repeat old pain, and her life no longer revolves around Khan. But with the family's insistence and his moves, any surprise is still possible. If you want more updates like this, you know what to do. Subscribe, leave your comment. Whose side are you on? And I'll see you in the next video. Every time I see Demet Özdemir being talked about again in connection with Khan Yaman, I realize something. Demet has been turned into a kind of mirror onto which many people project nostalgia, hope, or anger, depending on the day. And that feels terribly unfair to me. Because reading the comments out there, I feel Demet appears less like a real person and more like a symbol. The couple some idealize, the phase others think ended badly. The missing piece needed to make a story beautiful again. And honestly, I don't believe she should have to carry that endless movie on her shoulders. The first thing that stands out to me is the general fatigue of the audience in the face of what feels like strategy. Some say that after the presentation of Sandokan, a huge romantic announcement might appear to cover up scandals, as if everything were part of a calculated campaign. Even if we don't know whether that's true, the interpretation itself is revealing. Trust has been broken. And when trust breaks, any move by public figures is seen as marketing. In that scenario, Demet also gets trapped, even when she does nothing. Her name returns to the conversation, not because of what she says today, but because of what others imagine it could mean tomorrow. It bothers me to see part of the fandom treat the Khan Demet story like a product that can be reactivated whenever it's convenient, as if Demet were sitting in a box, ready to be pulled out whenever a romantic twist or a smokescreen is needed. Reading a woman that way, as a narrative tool in someone else's life, feels reductive. Demet has her own career, her own public identity that doesn't depend on any sentimental comeback. Yet the conversation keeps dragging her back there. I'm also struck by the tone of some comments, full of fury and distrust toward that woman or the lies. Even if those phrases were aimed at someone else, they feel part of a broader climate in which the women around Can are judged extremely harshly. And Demet isn't outside that pattern. I get the impression that for some people, women in these stories are either perfect saints or selfish villains. There's no room for complexity, for the right to make mistakes, for the simple act of moving on. If Demet stays away, she's called cold. If she shows up, she's called calculating. It's a trap that's hard to escape. That's why, when I think of Demet inside all this noise, I don't picture her pulling strings. I picture someone who has had a label stuck on her that she never asked for. Some fans remember her fondly because she was part of a bright, purer era in their memory. But other people's nostalgia isn't her responsibility. No one should have to live up to someone else's memory. It makes more sense to accept that that story, if it existed, or if it was as people imagine, belongs to the past. And that Demet today is somewhere else, with different priorities. And speaking of priorities, what interests me about her is exactly what lies outside the gossip. Her way of working, of building characters, of sustaining a public presence that doesn't need constant scandal to survive. That's why it irritates me when she's summoned only to fill a romantic narrative. It's as if the audience had only two buttons: Demet ideal couple and Demet media weapon, and couldn't see her as a complete artist. I don't want that cutout Demet. I want the Demet who doesn't fit into the script others keep writing for her. In the end, my feeling is that Demet is trapped in a conversation she doesn't control. People mention her to attack others or to save others, to justify strategies, or to heal fandom disappointments. And yet, the most likely reality is that she's simply walking her own path, untouched by the collective need to rebuild a perfect love story. I see her as freer than many want to admit, and that, paradoxically, is what creates so much noise. To sum up, I don't think Demet is a movable piece in some commercial plan, nor a supporting character in Can's life. I see her as a woman turned into a myth by the public, for better and for worse, who pays the price of that myth every time her name circulates again without a real reason. I hope people let her breathe outside that frame, because Demet doesn't need to return to any fairy tale to be worthy. She already has her voice, her career, and her own story. And that should be enough.